Really?
Real problems with each other.
Okay, the thing they're getting compensated, which is half of what a man is getting compensated. Well, we get most likely a tenth of what a Caucasian lady gets. Any dismissal that I've had where individuals said that I was insufficient for a job truly gets on my damn geeks. Everyone in this room, certain eventually has carried on with something in their lives and you've endured it. How could you emerge from that displeasure of the unfairness? Wow, I don't be guaranteed to feel like out of the resentment. I particularly was that young lady running from 8 to 9 young men who are continuously calling me, you dark, grotesqueness Viola. The narrative of Viola Davis is a motivation to numerous. She went from a ruined adolescence to winning foundation grants featuring in the hit television series How to Pull Off Murder in a way that would sound natural to her. The commended entertainer said, I can't completely accept that my life I can't am so honored yet. That wasn't before the supposed Holly Wood Watchman jumped on her in a past meeting. Viola opened up, uncovering that dark entertainers are dealt with like extras in Hollywood. The entertainer who featured in Mama Rainey's Dark Base shared her contemplations on inclusivity and projecting in a meeting with assortment what I feel listen at. Have an in excess of a 30-year proficient vocation I have. I had a companion who said definitely, yes, the lawyer profession is superior to my profession. Hard to get films made that don't fit a specific book X of how they see us. She said on the distributions grant circuit digital broadcast inclusivity can't be a hashtag. You must compose jobs for minorities that are socially unambiguous that is similarly basically as figured out as our white partners' jobs to cut to the chase of greatness. So we can be considered for grants yet a ton of time with inclusivity. It's a hesitation where the extras she regretted. Viola turned into the most designated person of color in Oscar history back in 2021 when she was elected for Best Entertainer in a main job for her exhibition in Mama Rainey's Dark Base. The entertainer has been named a sum of multiple times up until this point, making her only one of 2 people of color to win an Oscar and afterward be designated again, close by Octavia Spencer. The main explanation and breaking records is that nobody has been remembered. She proceeded to say that honor is a kind of restricted honor. The issue is with the filmmaking business itself, not the honors. The unbelievable Lee Screen Star added, you can't choose anybody for grants assuming no movies are being made. Viola grew up the second most youthful of 6 kids in the midst of wretched neediness, bigotry, actual maltreatment, abusive behavior at home, and liquor abuse, residing in a rodent swarm denounced constructing. The sisters were too scared to even consider going to the latrine around evening time, and all became ongoing bedwetters when the lines froze over during the cruel Rhode Island winters. They had no real way to clean themselves and needed to go to class resembling P just to confront seriously tormenting. Viola says she and every one of her sisters were exposed to rapes by family members, sitters, and the area filthy elderly people, men, while their folks were too up to speed in their own battle for endurance to offer any security. She has since pardoned and accommodated with them. Both she calls her 4 sisters my detachment, while their transcendently white old neighborhood was a minefield. Dual where AU were continually attempting to evade close to nothing and enormous blasts that could even out you. No big surprise she feels such a special interaction to the lady ruler, quite possibly of her best work yet. Life hasn't been simple for the star entertainer, and Hollywood, rather than heartily embracing her additional to her concerns, the 57-year-old has had her own battles with barrenness, as she subtleties in her journal when she was a solitary lady in her mid-30s. An activity to eliminate fibroids in her belly passed on her with a little window in which to get pregnant. This prompted an episode currently passed into Viola Davis legend, in which she showed her future spouse with a canaling like unequivocal quality. God, you have not heard from me in quite a while. I realize you're shocked I am. Viola Davis, she said prior to giving and petitioning heaven's structure a dating list of things to get that included ex-competitor, somebody genuine nation, and somebody who had a wife before me and young heirs as of now, so there was no strain to get pregnant. 3 weeks after the fact, she met the entertainer and maker Julius Tenon, who was those things, and in 2011 they took on their girl, beginning yet back to the current 57 years of age. Viola says generally that weariness back in her voice. I don't have the very energy that I had at 28 or more youthful when I saw Cicely Tyson. Interestingly, It was wow, I can be Miss Tyson. I can be an incredible entertainer on the stage, and film individuals will Oz blossoms at me her job and uncertainty close by. Meryl Streep gave her a major lift at 42 years old. And I said, wow, I concealed it yet that goes on for 2 seconds or less, on the grounds that with that comes disappointment, with that comes depletion. There is a vacancy that accompanies battling for progress. Viola says she currently comprehends her work not just as a way to get away from destitution or accomplish a self-appreciation worth yet, as a little piece of a bigger battle for equity simultaneously. Mostly, I have a genuine comprehension of my limits as a person. I can't convey the heaviness of the past on my shoulders. I can't do that. I'm not God. What I can do is what I can do, she admitted. In my brain, I see a line, and over that line I see green fields, yet briefly everything checks out. Why the entertainer is raging with Hollywood envisions subsequent to winning an Oscar, an Emmy, and 2 Tony Grants. Viola has shown off her abilities as one of the world's driving entertainers, but she actually needs D's to battle for equivalent compensation. I need, and I hope to get, a similar filet mignon that white entertainers get cooked at the specific temperature. Viola told In Style magazine, you can't give me a break with a truly decent piece of meat still on it and expect that is sufficient for me. I love my collard greens and that, and I realize we were all given the extra. She added, I know how to cook that yet. I need a filet mignon. She adds Viola has been perhaps of the most vocal entertainer about this subject of pay segregation, particularly since the #Time's Up development. While the development zeroed in on lewd behavior in Hollywood, it prompted further conversations. For example, equivalent compensation for individuals of color and minorities, and ladies' freedoms. It's just until you arrive at a specific point, and perhaps you have a specific degree of assumption that you understand, you dislike every other person. She said, in Hollywood, entertainers don't impart their compensation to one another. While they're lounging around drinking a glass of wine, the honor-winning entertainer mourns, when you grow up you need the entire pie. You don't need the 5% of the pie. A tremendous piece of that, I'll say, is self-image. She proceeded with inner self. Since you don't believe that individuals should realize that you make not as much as what they naturally suspect you make. Throughout recent years, Viola has been supporting for fortitude with everybody, fortitude with Caucasian ladies and ladies of variety. The distinctions in pay and the absence of admittance to open doors are gigantic, colossal. I completely expect switches. Am attempting to lift my expectations around. She says, okay, the thing they're getting compensated, which is half of what a man is getting compensated. Well, we get presumably a tenth of what a Caucasian lady gets, and number each other. Clasp from 2018 of Viola at the Ladies on the Planet occasion circulated around the web after it got out and about on Twitter. A couple of years back in it, the entertainer talked about the racial compensation hole. She's viewed as a dark entertainer in the business. I got the Oscar. I got the Emmy. Guy. I finished the 2 Tonys. I've Broadway. I've done off-Broadway. I've done television. I've done movie. I've done every last bit of it. She said, I have a profession that is likely tantamount to Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, Sigourney Weaver. They all emerged from Yale. They emerged from Juilliard. They emerged from NYU. They